Hi, I'm Carlos again with the final digital story. I'm quite grateful that I have been learning a lot of new things about technology and education. I have seen how education and technology has been evolving, because education has been evolving too, with new methods, new styles, new ways to teach, more modern methods, different ways, according to different learning styles, even with according to diversity, and technology have been evolving also. Different ways. It was evolving first in the computing, that the technology object oriented, the displays, the screen, and then I have seen how computing has been trying to integrate into the educational field in different ways. Everything has been like a process of communication, interconnection, you know, from the old ways that people need to use the computer in the lab, and communication had to be resumed in the lab. After that, internet, the universities first communicating, and sharing information, and people could like do chats, and communicate, and later with more potential, the computer was evolving, tablets, all that, and then people had more options for um, recordings, different objects, games, and all this has been like changing the way that education also is provided, to students. So I can see almost in the 60 years, I seen this movement went faster, how to assimilate this technology for education, and you can see people through chats. Later, a teacher could record, you know, students speaking, and then we have seen a lot of advancement. We have feedback programs that can provide feedback when the student speaks. The teacher can analyze the feedback, Also, they can replay, a student can replay themselves, and see, and it shows how they were improving according to the level they are supposed to be, the fluency, pronunciation, um, all the different aspects um, um, that form, that a student needs to get literate in another language, the L2. It was quite interesting also because I can see how technology has been like creating more field, more possibilities for educators. I can see the databases. Don't remember now the name. They have a lot of words, sometimes difficult words, with the meaning, the explanation, examples, and there are now programs that can connect with this database and get the information the student needs. So it's something quite somehow sophisticated. And the student, for example, is writing a sentence, he doesn't remember the word that he needs to use. He knows the meaning more or less, and he can connect with these databases and get, the word example in different ways that the word can be used, So it's something quite, quite advanced. It's quite good, Uh, I mean, I have also seen the different ways, the different that technology also, um, because technology needs to provide security also, when a student is writing a text on paper on the table, the teacher can see the student, And testing, for example, has some kind of rules the teacher and the test maker, they include that when they they create the test, And usually, when the student is um, um, doing a test on paper, the teacher can see the student. There's no other way. That the student can chat. Sometimes they can do it, but it's more difficult. But when they use online tools like online testing, it's a little different. Especially, when the teacher cannot see the student, in a lab, maybe it can be controlled somehow, but not when the student is at home, any other place. So now this rule needed to be adapted to online testing, and they have been modifying this rule for online testing. I had a course before that the camera in the computer was like watching me all the time, typing me all my behaviors, to see if I was like chatting or opening any other website, any other page to look for any information, I think the teacher of the program, they can understand, if uh, the student was trying to cheat or something, Uh, so now security is going to be one of the most important topics, the most important aspects that technology will be working, on to improve, these problems. Um, Also, it was really quite interesting to see, I mean, how it's possible that, for example, in Second Life, a virtual world, uh, a teacher, the school can use, can I mean, they can rent, you have to pay the program, I suppose, an island or a stay, the way they call it in the program, for this for and they create the environment or the situation, that they want. If you are learning a French, they can get an island in the program, for example, space, and they can put the stuff like Paris, Eiffel Tower, you know, um, the palace, I mean the museum, whatever, in in Ireland. For students, when they get immersed in the program, they learn French. They are immersing in the situation. They are in front of the Eiffel Tower or whatever, the museum, um, the Louvre in Paris. Different stuff. So it's incredible because the teacher can modify virtual reality, the virtual world, according to their educational goals. So it's also incredible because Second Life is for adult people, but for these islands for education, because they have already one, a big one, I think. A student need a login, and with that, there's no way that they can get outside of the island and enter in the other virtual world, for other people, So it's incredible that they can create this kind of relation this way. Also, another good thing with virtual reality, virtual world, even with augmented reality, some students are shy, and sometimes they want to express the way they speak, different cultures, In some culture, the teacher is the prominent one. That's the one that, should order or to control the class. And students, in that way, when they are in class, they tend to be like, respectful. They don't want to like, excel too much, um, in the virtual world, because they are an avatar, the teacher is another avatar, and the students are avatars. They can communicate in the virtual world, So it's not you, it's just the avatar. So they can open, And the teacher can induce the students in different ways to participate, to explain, This I have a lesson plan where I use this virtual world for learning, I think, Spanish. It was the last lesson I think that I created before this in the other module. Some students send me the feedback that is quite interesting. Uh, my experiment, what I did with this virtual world. I'm grateful that they really enjoy. They send me their compliments that it was like a good idea. Also, like with the lab idea, the lab program, like Sanako. I use this. It's like a Japanese company thing. It's a program in the lab where a student can communicate with the teacher, each other. This has internet capabilities. The teacher sends to each student any video. The student can speak among themselves. The teacher can hear, record their voices what they speak. They can send any test, and the moment the teacher gets feedback, and there is this communication between the teacher and all the student and the teacher. It's something I mean quite advanced that technology allows this, and the teacher doesn't have to be going to every desk and put the test. It can everything be done there. You know, because it has like internet capabilities that may open for any other school and when the native language spoken. And they can get chat. And the feedback program can analyze the grammar to see how is this going. So it's really really good to see that technology is opening more fields for education, and in the future more possibilities are going to be opening, different ways, because you have to see the different learning styles, what a student really like, so in my personal experience and with technology, well, I saw the test with the camera. It's something, was something new for me. I have been using lab, always use my computer, my cell phone. I have a program in my cell phone, for um, communicating, getting also information. Also I can, of course, video chat, stuff like that. Uh, Technology is in the life of everybody these times. Um, I think that technology in the future is becoming more somehow maybe more individualized for each student because different learning styles. I have the problem with learning problems. A student with disabilities, so you don't have to create like a virtual world, for example, or Second Life, the same for every student. Maybe the tools will allow in the future the teacher to adapt, modify the virtual world. So each student enters in a world that is somehow more modified for them, the avatar, the situation. In my final unit plan, I include this possibility when a English language learner is in the virtual world and he doesn't understand a word or maybe an expression, there is like a little tool, like a link, that where they can get the translation of that right there in the virtual world. This is a way to individualize. Some of the students have all the problem with the size, for example. I don't know, they sing or they memorize slower, so the avatar has to behave in different way. The situation has to be different. So I think that's the way maybe um, um, it could be modified. In the future, technology could change, so it allows more possibility for more students. Because the student who is like faster, he can get in the virtual world and play, but some of the students are different. Uh, so instructions, even with this new technology, maybe they are becoming more individualized according to also the situation. It's just not only the goal or what the student is supposed to be learning. Also, this course really was a very a good one. I mean, the content was quite interesting. I'm thankful for having learned all this. This is my last digital story. Thanks for your attention. I wish you the best in the course for the rest of the summer. Thank you.